Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now, in the last class, we had a trial class for physics. I actually want to do a trial class for pure maths, okay? So that you can understand that if you're actually comfortable with my maths technique. Now, for maths, there's actually a problem. I mean, for physics also, there's a problem that everything that is included in the book, not all of these things will come from your question paper. There will be lot other things outside your book that might come in your IGCSE physics also. Okay, but and another thing over there is for physics also we are giving you like extra supplements. I think in the last class also we gave you one PDF, right? So for physics, every chapter we are going to upload a new PDF in the classrooms, and from those PDFs I'll actually explain. And again, if you have some like any problem from the concepts that was explained in the book, I'll obviously explain that later in the class. But I think that my notes will not actually not contain anything that was again not from the book, because my notes are actually a like a revised version of the notes. Everything from the books are added in my notes, and again, anything that was unique in the question paper that was also added in the notes. And similarly for pure maths is actually a problem. Um, the actual book that was given by your IGCSE does not actually contain enough questions. Which book, by the way, you are using?
Pearson and Edexcel International GCSE for the pure maths.
Yeah, I think it's that like blue and yellow with the sunflower, right? The
Yeah.
problem is that type of questions will never appear in your exams, and that's quite easy to be honest. So what I will do is that I'll obviously follow that book, and in addition to that, we'll have a worksheet book. Okay, this is the worksheet book that I actually compiled for my students. 1 minute. Just open that file. Okay, 1 minute. For few months. Okay. This is your worksheet booklet that we are going to follow. I can also follow that book that is like recommended by Edexel Pearson. But as I've already stated, that question papers are going to be very different from the questions that you will come across in that book, because the book questions are extremely easy, way too less complicated and less tricky. Um, so we will obviously solve those, and in addition to that, we'll also need to solve this worksheet booklet, because this worksheet booklet actually contains questions taken from your question paper. Like I actually copied the question papers and arranged them in terms of chapters over here. So solving this will also help you. But then again, this is itself is a very big worksheet booklet. So I would suggest, since if you continue with my classes, I'll send you this PDF. Maybe if you have printers available, can you print this out?
Yes, teacher.
I mean, it will be much easier for you to solve maths from a printed book rather than from a PDF. Okay, so and then again, as we are also going to follow this one entirely, so I would suggest print this out. Okay, and before we move on to your that final book, which is the Pearson Excel for the pure maths, we'll start that from the regular classes. But in today's class, we'll start with basic algebra. Okay. Basic algebra is like the basic things we're going to understand in IGCSE for the pure maths, and actually basic algebra is not a part of your syllabus also. Okay, basic algebra is just for the understanding, for the base clearance, and algebra, from algebra onwards we will start with the contents on your for the pure maths, and then again we'll actually follow this particular pattern, because in this pattern it's just easier for me to explain. For example, in pure maths, algebra, then starts logs, exponentials, and differentiation, integration. These are the basic things. If you understand these four chapters clearly, you can solve any other things easily. For example, integration, differentiation will there like this with this topic. Sorry, 1 minute. As I was saying, integration, differentiation will be asked in gradient geometry, coordinate geometry, gradient tangent, normal tangent, and then equations of graph, then kinematics, then mensuration, then trigonometry, then three dimensions, right? So the integration differentiation is basic a base thing for all the other chapters. And then again, algebra will be asked in quadratic equations and uh, vectors a little bit. And then again, your exponentials. Sorry, uh, 1 minute. Okay, as I was saying that APGP is entirely different. APGP does not actually rely on any of the basic things. I mean, it does actually rely on the algebra again because we use simultaneous equations, and yeah, quadratic equations also requires basic algebra. Then rate of change approximation. These are entirely parts of integration and differentiation. Okay, these are like subsections for integration and differentiation. Nothing new. And vectors is different. Vectors does not actually depend on anything like logs or algebra or integration differentiation. It's completely different. But as you can see, most of the chapters are dependent on differentiation integration. So we're going to follow this pattern. In today's class, I'm going to complete as much basic algebra concepts as I can, and then from the next class onwards, we'll start with the algebra. Okay. For algebra, again, we have subtopics, but we'll explain those as we move on. So before we move on, I wanted to ask you one thing that for your, like, this is, I think, your class 9, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in your class 8, what kind of maths did you like learn in class 8?
We did the normal maths book, IGCSE. We finished maths book 1 and we've done until unit 7 of maths book 2.
Okay. Can you please tell me which topics you have already done?
Sorry, I don't have the book with me right now. Give me a few minutes.
Okay.
By topics we've done, what did you mean?
No, I mean that you say that you have completed till topic 7, right?
Sorry?
No, I was asking that in the previous year, which like chapters from this list can you see that maybe if something is familiar over here?
Quadratic equations we've done.
Okay,
Other than that, I don't think we really went into anything.
I think for quadratic equations, you are considering that as maybe the factorization, right?
Uh, yeah, I think under that we had quadratic equations.
Right, because in IGCSE quadratic equation that is entirely different. You have to make quadratic equations. Okay, so you did not do this in pre IGCSE. So basically, you have done algebra. Do you have any ideas about logs and exponentials?
Yes.
Okay, so that is also familiar to you. And differentiation integration, any idea regarding those?
No.
Okay, so it is new and okay, no problem. So let's start. I think we should start with the basic algebra. Okay, we'll stick to the basic algebras. Okay, now for basic algebra, the first page is extremely easy. You just have to multiply and simplify everything. Okay. Before we move on to the basic algebra, let's just open one file. 1 minute. Actually, just wait 1 minute. Okay. Also, another thing, Amna, I'm actually also going to post this video in my YouTube in public. I hope that's fine for you.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now, as I was saying, for basic algebra, we'll first understand few formulas and then we'll move on to the maths. Okay. So, the first formula is formula. Also, another thing, you will also be provided with a formula booklet, but I actually give the formula booklet printed to all my students who stay in Bangladesh. But since I cannot give that to you, so again, I'll have to send the PDF only, and I would suggest you again print that file. Okay.
Okay.
Now for this a plus b whole square, the formula was a square plus 2ab plus b square. Okay, there's a similar formula to this one, which is a negative one, a minus b whole square, which is a square. Everything is similar, only you have this minus in front, 2ab plus b square. And then again for the third one, you have this a square minus b square. Always remember that this a square minus b square is not equals to a minus b whole square. Okay, they are not equal to each other, they're completely different. So for this a square minus b square, you're going to write a minus b multiplied with a plus b. These are the three formulas which will actually be required for your basic algebra calculations. Um, have you like learned about these formulas before?
Uh, Kinda like the third one and all. We've been taught it, but not in the formula form.
Okay. Um, but this time it will be required very much for the factorization and also for this simplifications. Okay. Is there any problem for the first three ones?
No.
Okay. Let's move on to your questions. I'll try to solve very like two questions from each section. So this is basic algebra question one. I'll try to solve the last two questions from question one. As I've already stated that these are very easy, so I'm not that much putting effort to explain this. Um, After question three, it will be a little bit tricky.
3x plus 4.
Are you saying something, Amna?
No.
Okay. So you have this 3x plus 4 multiplied with x minus 2. So which means this is basically 3x multiplied with entire x minus 2 and then plus 4 multiplied with x minus 2. Right. So now you have 3x multiplied with x. So when x, like when any alphabet gets multiplied with another alphabet, it gets the square of that alphabet. So now you have 3x square minus 6x plus 4x and then minus 8. And now you cannot add this x square and x's together. These are different things, but you can add all the x components coefficients together. So you basically have 3x square minus 6 plus 2 is minus 2x and minus 8. Okay, so this is the final answer. Again, if you want to carry out this for this next question, for part 6, so 7. For part 7, you have to simplify it. For example, this one, it is 2x plus 3x plus 1. You can add the 2 and 3 together to give you 5x, right? So this second term actually is 5x plus 1. So the next one, 7, is actually going to be x plus 3 and no need to write that 2x plus 3x plus 1. I can just directly add that 2 and 3 together to give you that 5x plus 1, which turns out to be x multiplied with 5x plus 1. And you have plus 3, 5x plus 1. So you eventually have 5x squared plus x plus 15x plus 3, so which is 5x squared 16x plus 3. Is there any question for this question one?
No.
Then let's quickly move on to question two. For question two, this time you need to expand and simplify, and this time you have these whole squares over here. So whole square I can understand, and now I need to use that formula. A plus b whole square, a minus b whole square. Okay, those are the formulas I need to use. Since these are like new to you, so I'll explain two questions and uh, one will be a classwork. Do you have phone available with you now?
Sorry.
Like, do you have any phone available with you so that I can give you a classwork and you can do that entire working and send me the working in WhatsApp? I think you can use Akifa's phone maybe for the time being.
Um. Okay, I have to go get it from her.
Okay, then I'll give you time, no problem. First, understand this and then I'll give you the classwork. Okay.
Okay.
Also, for maths classes, I would suggest that try to keep a phone beside you because in most cases, I will be giving you classworks.
Sure, teacher.
Now, this is your A and this is your B. Okay, this is exactly in the form of A minus B whole square. Let me write this the formula over here. A minus B whole square was actually A square minus 2AB plus B square. Now, which is going to be x over 2 whole square minus 2 x over 2 y plus y square. Now, obviously, I'm going to get what? X square and 2 square gives you 4. So you have 4. This is going to be 2 and 2 gets cancelled out. You have x and y, and then you have just y square. Is there any problem for this part?
Not at all.
Okay, then we also need this plus formula. If you focus on the negative and positive formula, the only change is between the sign for that 2ab, right? So if you have a minus b, the 2ab becomes negative. If you have a plus b, the 2ab becomes positive. There is only difference. Other than that, everything is quite similar for the two formulas. Now for this section, this is 7 again. You have 2 whole square, right? So you have this 2x plus 1 whole square minus x plus 3 whole square, which is going to be 2x whole square plus 2, 2x 1 plus 1 whole square, and this will be subtracted with your x square plus 2, 3x, and then again your 3 square. So eventually you have this what? 4x square. This is again 4x and 1. And over here you have x squared, 2 into 3 is 6x plus 9. But now you have this negative sign in front of the second term, right? So everything inside the second bracket will actually get multiplied with a negative in front. This negative actually indicates you have a negative 1. So eventually the first bracket never changes. It continues to stay as 4x squared, 4x, and 1. But the second bracket would now be negative x squared, negative 6x, negative 9, which turns out to be, you can now add the x square or subtract the x square together, which is basically 4 minus 1. You have an invisible 1 over here. It turns out to be 3x squared, and then 4x minus 6 is minus 2x. 1 minus 9 is minus 8. Okay, and always remember, if you have an alphabet, just an alphabet indicates obviously in front of that alphabet there is a 1, but we never write that. This is just invisible 1. Is there any problem understanding this whole square concepts?
No.
Then you have a classwork now. Can you try to do this one? First, you have to break down this 5x minus 2 whole square and then again multiply 3 everything inside the bracket. Okay, you cannot multiply 3 before you expand that. You have to first expand that using the formula and then multiply 3, whatever you have inside the bracket then.
Should I send you a picture through Akifa's phone?
Sorry.
Should I send you a picture through Akifa's phone or?
Yeah, you can send me the picture. 1 minute. I received the picture. 3x 5x squared, so 25x squared, then uh, 4, 20, 4, 75, 60, and then 12. Right. Both your answers are correct. 1 minute. So you got the ideas for whole square maths. Now let's move on to the next part. For the question 3, now it is a little bit trickier because now you have to go back to the whole square format. They have given you answer in form of this a square minus 2ab plus b square, and now you have to go back to this a minus b whole square. Okay, so these are a little bit tricky. I'll solve as many as I can. For example, the last five are very much tricky. Let's start with this one. Okay, the last uh, 8 maths. Okay, now in this section, you always try to find out the square numbers, right? For example, I already know the formula is what? A whole square, right? Then whatever this is, A, B, if the sign doesn't matter because that sign only represents if it will be A minus B or A plus B, right? So, and then again you have this B whole square. So in these cases, this all these the first term and the last term would be a square number. Like maybe it is 3 square, 4 square, 7 square. That is how you find out the number. So if you have this 49y square, you do this in the rough word. This is your sixth question. 49y square, then 42yz and 9z square. So basically in your rough, you're supposed to do this 49 y square root, and that will give you what? 7y, because y square under a root eventually will get cancelled with each other. Okay, let me explain this to you again. Root over here is actually power of half. So whenever you have half multiplied with 2, it turns out to give you 1. So that's why always a root inside a square will cancel each other out. Or maybe a square inside a root will always cancel each other out. So maybe if you have a square root, that will give you a, or root a whole square eventually will also give you a. Is there any problem till now, Amna?
No.
I'll just remove all these things. Okay. Now again for that last term, 9z square. So you have 9z square root, which is going to be 3z. So now I am clearly confident that what is the value for my a and b. This is the value for my a and this is the value for my b. So now I can write that 49, instead of writing 49 a square, I can write 7y whole square, and again over here, instead of writing 9z square, I can write 3z whole square. So which is going to be 2a 7y and b was 3z. And eventually I can write, as this is a positive sign over here, So this represents 7y plus 3z whole square. Is this clear? Anna, is there any questions from this part?
No.
Okay. I know this might be a little bit tricky, but if you do like solve more maths, it will be not that much tricky anymore. Okay. For example, now if we move on to this one maybe. Okay. For this one again, you have n square minus n plus 1 by 4. Similar concept. I'm going to start with the first digit and the last digit. For the first digit, you have this root over n square, which is going to be n, and a root over, sorry, b is going to be equivalent to 1 over 4 under a root, which is going to be half. Now this time, this is going to be n whole square. I don't know what should be in the middle. I'll just start with the very end, which is going to be half square. So in the middle, you have 2. N was A and your half was B, right? So this is it. Now I can easily write the final answer. That is going to be N minus half whole square. Because you have a negative sign over here in front of the 2AB, so that's why your entire expression turns out to be negative. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do one more maths and then you will have to, Ashana, I'll do two more maths and then I'll give you classwork. So let's work with this one. That's 9 by 4 p squared, 3 by 4 pq, and 1 by 4 q squared. 3 by 2 and 1 by 4, sorry. Okay. Similar concept, I'll start with a 9 by 4 p square root, which is going to be 9 root is 3, 4 root is 2. So you have 3 over 2p, and then b would be 1 by 4 q square root, and you're supposed to get half q. So now you're going to get 9 over 4 p and half q. Now you have 3 over 2 p and 1 over 2q. Always try to calculate this, that if this actual combination restores your whatever the value you have in the question, in the middle section of your question, middle digit of your question. For example, over here, if you calculate all these things, this 2 and 2 get cancelled out. 3 divided by, so 3 multiplied with half will restore your 3 by 2, right? And then, sorry, I made a mistake actually. Over here, it's supposed to be 3 by 2. Right. And then obviously 1 by 4q turns out to be 1. So 1 by 2q turns out to be 1 by 4q under a whole square. And then again 3 by 4p gives you that 9 over 4p squared. So everything is restored. So I can now finally get your final answer, which is going to be 3 over 2p plus 1 over 2q. Right. This is everything under a square. That is your final answer. Then let's move on to another maths. I'll do this one. 9p square minus 12pq and 4q square. This is, wait 1 minute, this one more. Similar concept, I'll start with 9p square root, that's 3p, and b is going to be 4q square root, that's 2q. So you have now 3p and then 2q whole square, and in the middle you have this minus sign, so 2, 3p 2q and obviously plus over here. So eventually now you have 3p minus 2q whole square. Is there any problem from all of this maths, Amna?
No problems.
So in that case, since I solved this question and this question, so you're going to solve this one and this one and this one. Okay, three questions for you. These are your classwork. Similar process, you do the working and then send me the pictures through WhatsApp.
Teacher, I sent the photo.
Wait 1 minute. Yeah, I've received it. 1 minute. Yeah, all of them are correct. So let's move on to next question. This is question 4. Actually, I'm not going to solve question 4 today because question 4, 8, and maybe 9. Right. Question 4, 8, and 10. Not 9, 8, and 10. These are quite similar. We're going to start this in the next class. Okay, over here, we're going to start with question 5. Question 5 is for that a square minus b square formula. So in every part, everywhere you have this a square minus b square part. For example, in this part, this is x square minus 9. So you can write this as x whole square minus 3 whole square. And you can easily break this down as according to the formula, which was x minus 3 and x plus 3. Right? As your formula was a square minus b square, that can be expanded and written as a minus b and a plus b. Okay, similarly, you can solve all the maths over here in the same formula. Let's solve over here this one also. X square minus y square over 4. This I can write it as x whole square minus y over 2 whole square. Right. Again, you have this x minus y over 2 and then x plus y over 2. You never break down the brackets and simplify it further, okay? You just write it in terms of factors. That is it known as factors. Like writing in terms of brackets is known as in terms of factors. Is there any question till now with these first two maths?
No.
Then again, in the next part, this one, you have 9m. So 9m square will be what? 3m whole square, right? So 3m whole square minus 2 over 3n whole square. So now you have 3m minus 2 over 3n. That is your answer. Similarly, over here, this one is a little bit trickier. You have this 4x plus y whole square minus 9. So I'm not going to break down that x plus y whole square. I'm going to consider this as 2x plus y whole square minus 3 square. Now I consider that 2x plus y as my a square and then 3 square as my b square. So now it will be 2x plus y minus 3 and then you have this 2x plus y plus 3. I can further break this down. That is going to be 2x plus 2y minus 3. Now you have 2x plus 2y plus 3. Right? This is how the entire statement would look like. And if there is no question, then I'll give you one classwork. Is this clear till now, Amna?
Yes.
So the classworks are going to be 1 minute. This one, this one. Yeah, these are your classworks. Also do this one. Okay, these are your classworks. And it's quite easy, so I'm giving you many questions. I received your picture. 1 minute. X minus half x plus half. Then we have y plus 1 minus 1. So then we do 1 by 3. Right. 25, 5 minus 2y, and then 3, 4, and 2 by 5 and 4, then 1 by 10 and 2. Right. Yeah, all your maths are correct. Now I'm not going to teach anything new in today's class, but from our next classes onwards, we'll start our classes from July, and most of our classes will be from 9 p.m. Like for example, on Sunday 9 p.m. and then again, not exactly 9. Let's start from 9:30 because my other class actually ends at like 9:15 or 20. So we'll start from 9:30. Okay. So for class timings, I think we'll stick to Sunday and Tuesday 9:30 for pure maths. Okay. Sunday and Tuesday 9:30. Is that fine?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, then I'll stop the class over here. I think I didn't give you the recording for the physics class also. I'm sorry, I forgot to actually give you the recording. I'll send you the recording.